Can y'all hear us online?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I got nervous because no one was responding. Oh yeah, why isn't it coming out of there? Hold on, that's what it is. Let's MacBook. Let's. We need to go to the house.
Let's try that. Can someone online say something?
Something.
Try it again.
Something.
Here we go. Thank you. Shelton? Was that Sheldon? No? Someone else saying something? Okay. So this month, well, first of all, just welcome everyone. Happy day. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us for the VMFA meeting. We're going to be discussing veteran education. Very excited about this conversation. And as I always say in these meetings, just because we have panelists doesn't mean that people from the group who understand this topic, please jump in and add your expertise to the conversation also. My name is Brooke Dickhart. I'm the Executive Director of the Joel Fund, and we are one of the groups that organizes these meetings. And just so you know, our mission of the VMFA is to strengthen the local veteran and military community. Our objectives are to identify gaps, opportunities, and barriers in service to improve the service for veterans and military families. We coordinate information on services for veterans and military families, and we educate veterans, military families, and community advocates on community-based efforts in suicide prevention. So what I would like to start off with is introductions. So we will first go around the room. And if you will, please introduce yourself. And if you're connected to the military, please let us know your military affiliation. And then also what organization you're representing today. So, and I did not say my dad was in the Navy.
You don't have a trivia question or a favorite?
No, that's the copies.
I know.
What question do you want to answer?
I don't know.
Think of one before we get to you.
Throw a fun fact. My name is Landry Young. I am the marketing outreach manager here at the Joel Fund. My military connection is my husband. He is currently active duty in the Army. We're stationed at Fort Liberty.
Good afternoon, I'm Carla Jackson. I was former Navy and I am with Wake County Veteran Services Division. I'm the Wake County Veterans social worker.
Paul Berry, Veterans Bridge Home, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I'll throw a fun fact out there is I actually like to sew.
I did not know you had that skill. That's impressive.
By hand or with the machine?
Both.
Oh,
Wow. Okay, very impressive.
I'm Jessica Strema with Back in the Saddle Equine Services for Heroes. I'm a civilian, but lots of military in my family because heroes heal with horses.
Do you have a fun fact?
I like to sew too.
Yeah.
My name is Antonio Bird. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I am marketing community coordinator with veterans in Bridge Home. Fun fact. I'm an avid runner. I don't look like it, but I'm an avid runner.
I love that. That's awesome. Katrina Powell, market community coordinator with Veterans Bridge Home, Army veteran. Fun fact, I guess I'll piggyback with Antonio. I'm a fitness enthusiast, so I love working out.
Very cool. Thank you.
My name is Wes Kaosombat. I'm also a Marine veteran. My military affiliation is that, and then my whole family that always serves in Marine Corps. I mean, in the service. My brother was actually an H-130 gunner, so he was participating in Air Operation Regiment with Officers Trail and everything like that. But my father's I had 3 stepfathers, so they were all military as well. And so I grew up in a military family. Then I was in the Air Force, but then I joined the Marine Corps, so I went a different route. I work for Grand Canyon University as a university development counselor, and I specialize in military and veterans. And my fun fact is I'm also a fire captain in my other job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Okay, online, Danny.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Danny. I'm a veteran and intern with the Joel Fund on a social work program. So very fortunate to be here. Look forward to see a fun fact. I also enjoy working out and recently been picking up the habit of fishing lately. So
Paul loves the fish too.
we should go sometime, Paul.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Thank
Rob?
you.
Everyone, I'm Rob Palermo. I'm the program director for Veteran and Military Student Services at UNC Chapel Hill. I'm a Coast Guard veteran. My fun fact is I'm wearing this sweater because our facilities has set the temperature in my building to 60 degrees for some reason. I'm having a great day.
It's corporate leisure.
I went to, on Friday, I have to just share the story to offer that, but we went to First Watch for breakfast, and when we walked in, it was so cold, you could see your breath. I was like, what do you want, Patriots today, or, but yeah, can you see your breath, Rob?
No, but I have seriously considered like putting on my motorcycle gloves because like I'm that cold right now, which would be absurd, but
Well, if we see you like blowing on your hands, and we'll know why. Thank you. Okay, Robert?
Hey, good afternoon. Robert Locklear, and I serve as the Sand Hills Regional Impact Manager for a nonprofit called My Future NC, and we're headquarters in Raleigh. And I'm ex-military. I served on active duty for 10 years in the Navy and 7 in the reserves. And after that, I became a public school teacher, administrator, and retired recently as assistant superintendent for the public schools of Robeson County. And my fun fact is I enjoy cooking.
Nice. Anything, what's your specialty?
Well, I love Southern food, so anything Southern, I love cooking.
Nice.
What was his nonprofit called?
My Future NC.
My Future NC. We focus on educational attainment and workforce credentials. And glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. David?
Hello, everybody. I'm David Williams. I work here at Hire Heroes USA. Recently, I just changed positions here. Now I'm the Homeless Veteran Program Coordinator for the Raleigh area. So I'm new to the Homeless Veteran Program, but I'm looking forward to work with everybody. I'm an Army veteran myself. Fun fact about me, I love sports. I'm a sports enthusiast. I actually coach youth sports, and I actually coach at the middle school and high school level as well.
What do you coach?
At Southern Wake Academy. It's in Holly Springs.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Lauren? Lauren, are you able to introduce yourself? We'll come back. Shelton, good to see you.
Greetings, everyone. Shelton F. Reclaus, representing the Department of Veteran Affairs. Army veteran. Fun fact about me is a couple. First, I also like to cook. My specialty is greens, collard greens in particular. Any type of greens, cabbage, kale, spinach, but greens. Other fun fact, I collect shot glasses. So everywhere I go, that's new, I collect shot glasses. I have about 250 in my collection, and I have built a king. And not all of them are used. Some are brand new. But I'm always glad to be here.
Thank you.
And one more thing too. I know last week was the storm and everything. That's probably because of me, because I made a surprise visit to North Carolina and I brought it with me. So I apologize for that.
Wait, did you just say you were here last week?
I brought the storm. Yes, I did.
But you didn't come visit?
I just blew in and blew out.
I hear.
Put him on mute, bro.
I see how you are. His other fun fact for those who don't know is that he's actually calling in from San Diego.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, that's palm trees in the background.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
Thanks, Shelton. Nick?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Nick Drake, Army veteran, currently serving in the North Carolina National Guard, 19 years combined, so getting ready to retire here shortly. I am the Director of Military and Veteran Services here at NC State University. And I guess the fun fact, so similar to David, I am a huge sport fan. So I nerd out with fantasy sports, so specifically fantasy football. So I'm coming into my glory days here. I can live vicariously through everyone who can play. So good to be here.
Thanks, Nick. I love it. Josh?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I am Josh Dadoff. I am a caregiver support coordinator here at the Durham VA with the Caregiver Support Program. My military connection, I am the son of a World War II Navy veteran and 25 years of VA service as a social worker in a variety of different settings. And my fun fact, I think, is I have just taken interest in learning how to make stained glass. So I am taking a stained glass class because nothing says wise idea like having me and shards of glass in the same room. So when you see me
Josh,
with lots of Band-Aids.
Get good and come teach here. No
Will
pressure.
do. No pressure.
Thank you. Matt?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Matt DeVivo, Reserve Component Transition Assistance Advisor, headquartered at the Guard headquarters, and also on the road quite a bit. Army veteran and Army retiree. Fun fact, a flute with no holes is not a flute. A donut without a hole is a Danish.
Oh. That took me a second.
Ty Webb, Bushwood Country Club, 1980.
Thanks, Matt. Let's see. Janeyah, you're next.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Janeyah Wells. I am the guidance counselor at the North Carolina National Guard Education Office. Fun fact about me is I love basketball, not all sports. I do not like outside sports. It gets too hot in North Carolina, so I was very excited when my children chose basketball. I am civilian, but my oldest daughter is currently serving in the Army in Germany.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Allie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Anderson. I'm the community care manager here at the Joel Fund. My military affiliation is both my parents were in the Air Force. My sister is active duty Air Force. My husband is in the Army, stationed at Fort Liberty. I'm on off camera today because my family has been hit with COVID. So we are not the best looking group right now. So I'm just going to be staying off camera today. My fun fact is that I actually got into making sourdough this year. So I have a starter that I've been feeding like a Tamagotchi for the last couple of months. And it's been a lot of fun.
It's really good. That's delicious. Sam or Brenda, the Brew Bakers.
It's Brenda today. Sam's on grandkid babysitting duty. So Navy Nurse Corps, 71 to 76. I have 6 years of high school teaching and 17 years in the community college system. Representing Vietnam Veterans of America and Triangle Women Veterans. And my fun fact for all of you sewers out there, I'm downsizing. So if you want some double knit fabric, I know where you can get it.
Nice. Thank you, Brenda. Good to see you. Jennifer?
Hey, good morning, everybody, or afternoon, actually. Jennifer Melton with Veteran Services of the Carolinas. My affiliation is through family members. I have two of my siblings have served, my brother-in-law, lots of, history in the military, different branches. Fun fact is that I like to off-road. So I have a big FJ where I do rock crawling. I'm actually going in a couple weeks out to Tennessee to see what else I can break on it. So
wow. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm sorry, I was having issues.
No, that's okay.
earlier. But hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Houston. I work for the North Carolina National Guard Employment Center. I am an employment counselor, one of two here in Raleigh. Victoria Knott is my colleague who's under the weather as well due to COVID, but she definitely sends her regards. I was a veteran, Army veteran. I was in the military for about 7 years. Um, Former military spouse. I'm about to be another military spouse, so that could be my fun fact as well. I just got engaged. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank
Awesome,
you.
congrats. Love it. Did I miss anyone? I always like to make sure we got everyone. Okay, awesome. So as I mentioned, our topic of discussion today is veteran education. So what I'm gonna do, Rob, if you'll kick us off, please explain your role and what you all do to serve the military veteran community.
Sure. My primary role is running veteran and military student services. I take care of all those with the exception of certifying VA benefits. We have people whose job it is to do that. But a lot of our work is transition type work, from helping people transition from the military into life at a large university like this one, helping them overcome the challenges, both academic and social, that go with that. We do a lot of programming that is student facing, with the idea of both community and skill building, as well as programming that is more university and public facing, to try to raise greater awareness about the population, especially in our specific area. I operate a standalone center that veteran and military students can come to socialize, study, et cetera, and also receive services. Nick will probably pick up on what I forgot because he does something similar to me, so I'll stop there.
Thanks, Rob. Janeyah, would you like to go next?
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties.
No worries.
Sure. I'm the guidance counselor at Joint Force Headquarters here in Raleigh. What we do is help service members that are currently in the National Guard once they enter and also once they exit, so that they're aware of all of their education benefit options. So I pretty much walk them through identifying their school and making sure that they're aware of what education benefit options will best fit them for their pursuit.
Thank you. Wes?
Okay, again, my name is Wes. I'm with Grand Canyon University. So my job there is, as a counselor, we're kind of unique in the way that, we walked our students throughout their whole process from start to finish, and I'm the counselor, usually a counselor until they graduate. That's one unique thing about Grand Canyon. I don't know any other school that does that. Usually other schools, they get some people, they hand them admissions and financial aid and all that kind of stuff. But with us, you have us to help you guys throughout the whole process. We help, I specialize in the veterans, military people, the piece. So we have different councils for civilians, but the military piece is very unique, and everybody knows that. So we have different benefits. They have different benefits with the veterans and stuff like that. So I'm very well aware of all the different needs they have. And like I was telling Brooke earlier, a lot of the people I talk to don't understand what benefits they have as veterans getting out, even including myself. When I got out, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I knew I wanted to go to school, but I didn't know who to talk to or whatever. Luckily, I found somebody to talk to and then walk through the process that way, but it was still hard to do so. So I wanted to give back and to my fellow vets and military members. I want to give that piece back to them, where I hold their hands, not hold their hands, but I kind of guide them to every piece of Westfield, so they don't feel they're left by themselves to figure things out. So they like that aspect of things. And with Grand Canyon and specifically, and the other college might be similar, but we only require our students to take one class at a time, and that's considered full time. So if they're going up for their undergraduate work, they'll they could possibly help receive Pell Grants and stuff like that, and then I'll help them walk through that piece of the way with FAFSA. I do all that stuff. If they have veterans benefits, I make sure they apply for the veteran benefits. Our active duty folks, they pretty much, most of my active duty students are getting paid to go to school because they're using their tuition assistance. Along with it, we give them a scholarship as well for the active duty person and their spouse. As far as scholarship goes, so most of my active duty students and their spouses are getting paid through Pell Grants because most active duty folks qualify for Pell Grant. And so they're getting paid to go to school one class at a time, and they love it. They like the piece where most of them have families and stuff like that. Anyway, they have to work. And so they're only going to school. They're getting paid through the federal government. It's a win-win situation. They're getting a degree, we're accredited. And I walk them the hope, and they have somebody to talk to whenever they need to call me. It's like, okay, usually when I went to school, it took like 5 days for me to make an appointment with my counselor or advisor, and that's how it was. But with me, they have my cell phone numbers. They call me right away. Hey, Wes, I have this problem. Can you fix it? I'm on there right away. So we try to add that personal piece to make sure our students are well taken care of, and especially the military folks. So I want to make sure, because they, like I said, it's very specific on their different the needs they have and the benefits they have that a lot of people aren't aware of. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, I heard you mention that you also serve spouses for Rob and Janeyah. Do you guys also work with the families to provide services?
We do, yeah. I'm charged with serving all military connected students, including dependents. Most of the touch point we have with dependents is assisting with VA benefits, making sure that those are squared away and ready to go. And we work with our school certifying officials to do that, but they're welcome at the center. We do have some that participate in programming. I've had a handful that are work study students as well.
Awesome.
And yes, we do also work with veteran spouses and dependents.
Okay, good. I like that. It just made me think of a question. I'm gonna kind of go off here a little bit. So with my dad, because everything that I do is in his honor, but so my dad didn't graduate with a high school degree and later got his GED. Do you see a lot of that today still? People in the military don't have even their high school degree and have to get that before they can even then move on to get anything else. I'm just curious if it's common today or not, or I just think about it from my dad's perspective and what he went through in his journey.
I would say that what we run into most is that service members begin their degree and they don't complete them because life gets in the way. So I appreciate when we have the individuals that are interested in finishing so that we can kind of walk through step by step and say, hey, it doesn't have to be completed within a year or even two based on the benefits that you use, but just let them know that we are here to help them along the way.
Yeah, I'd echo what Janeyah said. By the time they get to me, they've completed that, at least. But we do often have folks that have done some coursework at the college level and maybe in a kind of a piecemeal fashion. And one of the big things we do there is help with credit articulation and stuff like that. So that's kind of the main thing I see.
One of the things I've come across is a lot of our military students they don't think they can go to school because they haven't taken, they don't think they can pass the SATs or ACTs and stuff like that. And it's like, so most online schools, you don't have to take those tests and everything like that. Like with GCU, all you have to do is self-certify your graduation. You tell me you graduated, and that's another piece that Grand Canyon offers, and other schools do that as well. But your military training, if it's A certified, you will get credit for it at GCU. When I went to school, I didn't get the credit for my military training. They didn't give me nothing for it, so I had to start from scratch. So with Grand Canyon University, not only will we evaluate your JSTs or from the military service, we'll give you credit for it. I've had students that have never stepped a foot in a college classroom before. Matter of fact, it was a 19-year-old combat medic. I just evaluated his transcripts. Never stepped in a college classroom. He got 62 credits just from his military training alone. And so his school is already cut in half.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
30 years, I didn't know what I didn't know, and then someone in the education system helped me.
All right.
And they did joint service transcripts as JST.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, all these courses and all these things I took.
The Air Force calls it a little different.
Yeah,
different branches.
branch is a little different, yeah. Yeah, but Brooke, on the GEDs, I think with some of the recruiting challenges, for years, they weren't signing up people who had a GED or no GED. But I bet they are now. But what those service components do, that the Army, is they have programs when they're in to get that GED, because normally they tie that to retention or promotion, like you have, like if you're gonna stay in, you need your GED, or you're gonna get promoted to E4 or beyond, you have to get your GED. The good thing is they have great programs with it, but like most of them, even if they have a GED, they do 4 years, they come out, they have all kinds of credits. So if they had some of these technical schools they've been to, and it's thank goodness for the schools that do this, because it cuts out some courses.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's all kinds of history and God,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
You'd be surprised how many credits we give. Most JSTs goes towards elective requirements.
Yes.
But there are some times they take communication through the military and time communication class and stuff like that. It will go to the gen eds as an English or something like that, or philosophy.
That's great. Paul, since you were talking, I wanted to go ahead and pull this up real quick. Would you mind walking us through these slides?
Yeah.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I see colors.
Okay. You have one in front of you.
Actually, I have the body of the email I sent you. So I don't want to throw a bunch of numbers in front of you, but I pulled up data through NC Care 360, which is the bigger umbrella that NC serves nest under. The NC Care 360 uses a referral platform to do referrals for anybody in the state of North Carolina. Doesn't have to be a veteran, any status. And I looked at education referrals year to date, and the co-occurring needs that are around education referrals in that system, and housing and shelter are about 22%. Food assistance is 14%, and employment services are 12%. So when citizens of North Carolina, not just veterans, are working and getting education assistance, those are those co-occurring needs that are out there. So I think it's just, again, it just really drives home the point, Brooke, of why you have this alliance, and the great work that you guys have done at the Joel Fund is because it takes a whole village to really do it. So next slide.
Oh, hold on. How do I get there from here?
If you
Oh,
can.
there it goes.
Yeah, and then I did it for just the triangle area, and those numbers are a little higher, actually. Housing and shelter needs are 23.4%, employment is 16.4%, and food assistance is 12.7%. So those co-occurring needs are even higher the closer you get to Raleigh, just because of there's more education, there's UNC, Duke, Chapel Hill, there's, all those schools are here, but it's so expensive here too. So it just shows the need to have even more services. Next one. And then I just wanted to show year to date the services for NC Serves in the triangle. I think that's 459. I'm surprised I can actually read that. 459 clients for almost 1,000 services. We're over 900 already, which is a big growth since last year for us. I think we've almost did the same work this year already that we did last year, but that's thanks to Antonio and Katrina and my inability to help. But one thing I will say is for the triangle area, 7% are mental behavioral health, if you look at that lower right, but that's actually 32 individual veterans who have been screened and connected to mental health services. That's a big difference than what we used to do when we referred, but these have been screened and now referred to mental health services and reported up through the VA, not in the VA system, just reported up through the VA that we have screened and connected to services. And then that last slide is just Wake County, which is very eye-opening. While it's great that we did 32, 28 of them were Wake County veterans. So for us, for NC Services, we're continuing to work. How do we do these same services outside of Wake County? We're very connected inside of Wake County, so we're going to continue to work on those things. And of course, we can share these, bro.
Yeah, I'll include them in the follow-up email.
Thank you.
Sure. But I think you bring up a good point. So normally I have my questions that I follow, but to put this out there to all of you, and Nick, even jump in here, like, do you constantly see these similar or co-occurring needs when you're working with your students? Do you have students who reach out for housing assistance, for food assistance, or mental health connections? I'm just curious, And Nick and Rob, I'm gonna call on you since you're, the four-year universities right here. But anyone else who can contribute to that question, please do.
Sure, we do see a fair amount of that. I'm housed in the Dean of Students office, which is tasked with taking care of basic needs stuff like the food pantry run on campus, the student emergency fund, stuff like that. I was honestly surprised when I first got here by how many students are dealing with housing insecurity, food insecurity, et cetera. It's a much larger number than I would have thought. Most of our military students, we pretty rarely see that. We do occasionally see other needs for that kind of emergency funding around housing when some type of emergency happens or something like that. I don't know how reflective it is of the larger veteran community, but I don't see a ton of those types of insecurities with the students we work with.
Nick?
Yeah, it's a very similar response to Rob. We refer a lot to university resources. So again, we have Mike Giancola on our staff. So I fall under the Division of Academic and Student Affairs. So we have a wonderful student ombuds team that helps kind of navigate some of the resources on campus. And probably the hardest thing is the access to the resources, right? So we working in the veteran space, we know how many wonderful resources and things like that are out there and the support that's out there, but sometimes that entry point can be a huge barrier. So Mike helps on that side. And then I'll also put a plug in. So I know Paul's here, but the NC Serves is phenomenal as well. So when there are things that we cannot handle as a university, or in a few cases, we've had students that have exhausted their ability to get the emergency loans here on campus, we can tap into those types of resources or more of those systemic type issues to help them, past that. We had a student in here that, is mom didn't have a great relationship with mom, got separated from the military for what is not service connected, but ended up getting an other than honorable discharge through for that. So getting it in Paul's hands and helping them navigate that, or using Siobhan here in Wake County to get them connected to the VSO to see if there might be some eligibility. But again, we get a pretty fair share of it. We have 2,400 military connected students here at the university. So we see the gamut of things throughout a given academic year for sure.
Yeah, Brooke, I'd say, hats off, like NC State, UNC, we see I think ever since 9/11, Grand Canyon, it really figured this out, so how many students, veterans were truly struggling and I know Central Carolina Community College, down in Sanford, they have that no questions asked, walk-in food pantry and other things like you can use it as much or there's no questions asked. It's done to keep their honor and dignity and, it's so they don't drop out. If you're hungry, they're gonna study.
Yeah. Shelton, before I jump over to you, I want to give Janeyah a chance to answer.
Hey, I just have a quick question. Of the service members that are connected in the schooling, do you all have, at least for the North Carolina National Guard, at least the point of contacts if they have questions about their education benefits, or if you have questions about your education benefits, who is the point of contact to reach out to us?
Yeah, we do. And again, so we have a veterans education team. So a lot of the GI Bill type stuff, but where we tap into it a lot more is the NC TAP program specifically. But yeah, we definitely do. But if you're the main point contact too, we're happy to work through you. So whatever you guys need us to do.
What Nick said.
Thank you. Okay, Shelton.
So this is great conversation. I want to share something and also ask a question. So when I was active, I went to school as well, and I used, of course, my GI Bill because this was way back in the day, of course. And once I exhausted my GI Bill, later on, I went back using some grant that was given to me. Now my daughter is benefiting from my service using one of those chapters, 33 or 35. Now, I don't know if everyone knows this, but between Nick and Rob, and I gotta call on Nick first because I want to hold this up, Nick. I'm just letting you know I am representing because that's what I did for my masters. But Nick and Rob, if you would mind, please talking about chapters 33 and 35 so that others can understand the differences that those dependents have. And then also if you would speak about the voc rehab, if you don't mind, because all of those are benefits that are available for spouses and dependents and for veterans alike.
And I don't know, Rob, if you want me to start or not, but I'm happy to do so. So there's several different chapters of benefits, and depending on your affiliation, it would matter which ones you're eligible for. So the most robust that we generally see out the door is the post 9/11 GI Bill. Oh no, Janeyah. The post 9/11 GI Bill. That's going to be the most robust. So essentially, those that are eligible for 100% of that benefit, they would serve 36 months or more on active duty. So again, if you're National Guard and Reserve, sometimes there's confusion there that you're not eligible for it. If you stay in consistent, was it Title 30, or you don't have Title 32, but you're just an MDay without any active duty orders or Title 10 orders, you'd be eligible for 1606, which is a stipend program. That's going to be a little bit smaller benefit. So that's ranges depending on what your kicker is in the $500 to $700 range a month, generally, if you're just strictly National Guard Reserve with only National Guard Reserve time. However, if National Guard or Reserve members have active duty service time, so let's say you go on a 12-month rotation with the National Guard, you come back, you're going to be eligible somewhere in the neighborhood of 60% of that benefit. So chapter 33, when it pays out, it pays 100% tuition and fees to the in-state rate, so public institution. So Rob's school, my school, or any of the other 14 UNC system schools, you're going to get full tuition and fees paid for. You get an allowance for housing. So here in Raleigh, that's $20.82 a month. They get $1,000 book stipend, so it's $41.67 a credit hour. So that's capped. And then additionally, also students are eligible for Student Blue on that as well. So the VA will pay that premium as well if they choose to have that as a primary or secondary insurance. So that's going to be the most robust. That is also available to dependents. Okay, so it's based on minimum service requirements of the service member in terms of length of service, and then also when they become eligible to put a dependent on there, serving the minimum amount of time they would need to make sure that they don't have to pay that benefit back. So here at NC State, that's about, for us, we have 1,400 students on benefits. That's about 750 to 800 are on chapter 33 here at NC State. So that's a combination of both veterans, the service member, and the dependent. The VRNE that you're referring to, Shelton, so that's having a 10% or higher disability rating with the VA. The big thing with that benefit, right, and generally how we'll counsel the students coming into, if they have 33 eligibility, if you do have a service connection, we look at trying to get them on 31 as soon as possible in order to extend out the life of the benefits. So having that 33 later on. The main reason for that, right, is because the 33 being the forever GI Bill, is not a mother may I system. Whereas 31, you've got to apply for it, you've got to get accepted for it, and it's based on whatever your service connection is. It's going to be based on that. So the degree fitting that need or making you employable at the end of that, because it is a different pot of money. So again, there is the ability to get the full BAH rate with that. The big difference with 31 and 33 for the service member is that there isn't a cap on books. So the educational supplies, at least the books. And in some cases, depending on the VRNE counselor, the degree program you're in, they can approve technology, so computers, and other things like parking on campus and all that good stuff. And then lastly, the other big one that we see is chapter 35. That's the one that you had mentioned, Shelton, which is the dependents educational assistance. So this benefit here is if the service member is 100% permanent in total, each eligible dependent, so that's child and or spouse, is eligible for their own 36 months of that benefit. So unlike chapter 33, where you have a total of 36 months, so let's say you have 2 children and a spouse that are using that benefit, that 36 months you would have to break up between them, so potentially 12 months per. For this, each one gets their own 36 months, and right now that's $14.88 a month while they're in school. That one will pay out. And then of course we have Chapter 30, the Montgomery GI Bill. That one will be sunsetting here in what, 5-6 years. So I think that's 2030. That one sunsets. We don't have a lot of folks on that one. Generally, most people that are using that are currently on active duty. They've PCS'd here. That pays out a little bit more just because they can't double dip that BAH and stuff. So that program pays them. It's a little bit more advantageous for them. And then the last thing I would say outside of the veterans education benefits that a lot of folks, some don't even hear of it, is the North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Children of Wartime Veteran Scholarship. So this is for service members that had their initial entry into service in North Carolina or the child was born. They do say continuously live in North Carolina. I know that there are some exceptions to that. But Angela Heilig and her team do a phenomenal job. But that there is another opportunity to get full tuition, and then depending on the service member's disability rating, also room and board, at least partially, if not fully covered as well. So there's a lot of stuff out there. And then of course, TA and all that good stuff if you're active duty.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that was an outstanding summation, Nick. It is a rather complicated system. The only thing I would add to that is I've been surprised by how few veterans know that VRNE is out there and available. So that's something we try to, when folks come in, let them know is a program that they can potentially participate in. And I guess the only other thing I'd add to that, without trying, like really getting into the weeds of it, is that it's important to be able to counsel vets and their families who are using those benefits so that they understand the administrative rules of how those benefits work. Things like the fact that the VA won't pay for a course you've already taken even if you need to retake it, et cetera. And that starts to get into talking about with a student about, is it a good idea to actually articulate all the transfer credits that I have credit for, or there's some maybe that we shouldn't. And they do here at least have the option of basically deferring on credits that they might be eligible for reasons around needing to retake the course and have the VA pay for it. So it can be a kind of Byzantine, and it's really important to be able to provide good one-on-one counseling to the beneficiary. It's the student.
Thank you. Shelton, was there anything else with that? That was a great question.
No, I just wanted, so my daughter is using it. That's why I knew that, these benefits existed. And I wanted others to also know, because again, it's just like Rob said, a lot of people don't know. And there's so many benefits available for veterans and spouses and dependents that they are not aware of. So I just knew about these three. I wanted, to be brought up. And I also, want to thank Nick, because I forgot about the NC Children's, which is a little bit more harder to get, but it is an option.
Thanks. Does anyone know if there's like a one-pager that kind of breaks them down differently and kind of bullet points the different ones?
The website, I know, just the website, on a website, it's on there.
But does it just highlight, because it's so much information? Like, I just like a one-pager. The quick points. No, nothing like that exists.
Yeah, when I was looking for schools to go to, it was just hours of research for what I could get as
Okay, which one?
spouse.
Which one of y'all is taking that on?
I have one I can send you that we created internally to disseminate to campus partners so that they understood it. So I can shoot that over to you.
Awesome. Yes. Janeyah, can you send that to me? And I know you have to hop off early. But so I wanted to give you a chance. Quick, my question to you is, how do people access your services? Like, what is the best thing as, community partners? What's the best way for us to refer people to you or to your group, to your education center?
A lot of our information that we share, we do educational briefings with the units. So that's how we get our outreach done. We go to RSPs, we go to PHA. So the majority of our contact is with the service members directly. So when we do our table setups, we let them know that we service the veteran, the spouse, the dependent, so that they're aware. that if they end up having a question that comes up afterwards, after we brief or whatever table setup we do, that they can always reach out to us. So our contact is mainly with the service member that's in service.
Great, thank you. And for the rest, Wes, like what's the best way to get people, I mean, do we direct them to you?
So, right, another interesting fact, I'm the only North Carolina military specialist for Grand Canyon University right now. We're trying to hire 3 more. But right now, I'm the only one. So if you have anybody that wants to go to Grand Canyon, except for that, and take nothing from the other schools. I got a son graduated at NC State. I have 2 that graduated from UNC, and one's at Western, and one's just starting UNC Charlotte. So I love North Carolina schools and something, but if you have the option of Grand Canyon, what the Grand Canyon has to offer, I'm the only contact right now for the North Carolina division. So I will leave my information with you guys if it's needed.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, Brooke, I just, having GI Bill, I had Montgomery GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill, chapter 1, 31, 2, 3, and 5, but my daughter used my chapter 35 benefits. What I think I'd say was, instead of, like, it's good to have the information, but it's who to talk to. Like, I thought I really knew this stuff. And then I started working for NC Serves, and like, I thought I really knew it. I didn't. I got a hold of folks like that are on the call and say, you've got to get me smart. Like, what do I have to do as a beneficiary, and what does she have to do with the school? And thank goodness for folks like this, because they literally just mentored me. Like, okay, this is what you rate. This is what you do. This is what your daughter needs to do at the school. These are the forms. And they walked me through. I couldn't be more appreciative. And that was through NC State. So hat off to your people, Nick, years ago, to walk her through all that.
But at what point do they do that? Is that before they're applying to schools? Is it once they're accepted? Like, at which point do you do that?
That was even more confusing. I think that was the biggest one for me, was when to start doing all this paperwork. So I would defer to Nick and them on the call, because that one was very confusing years ago. It was like, when do I start all this stuff? I know I have the benefit, but when? When she's accepted, when she starts, like, does she get back paid? So I had a lot of questions.
As far as our school, like, I try to help them as much as possible. I try to start the VA as soon as possible, trying to give them time with the VA counselor. And then at the same time, I want to make sure they're taken care of on my end. So I'll walk them. I try to not overwhelm them. Like, get the VA piece in, get the FAFSA piece in, get the then we'll worry about the RF application later. Let me evaluate your transcript and everything. Go, if this looks good to you. If you want, if it looks good to you, and I'll show you the numbers, how much it costs to go to a school, and then we can start getting to the application part. But I want to make sure you're making the right decision before anything like that.
Yes, perfect.
Nick or Rob, anything to add on that? Janeyah?
Yeah, I would just say we counsel people all the time that are thinking about coming and haven't decided yet, and try to basically do the same things these folks say, get them to get the ball rolling early. You can get started on applying for the benefits, getting everything straight on the VA end before you make a decision about where you're going to school. So just, making sure they understand the options and the timelines.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a page from Rob's book and say same. But also, we've come to realize that is an issue that we have in the Guard, and getting the service members to buy into education. So they may attend an educational brief, or they may get the information, but because at the time they're not interested, when it comes time for them to utilize it, it's then going backwards to try to make sure that they have the information that they need to get in touch with us when they new. So they do a lot of in process and out process, and it's been tough for us to make sure that they are aware of the benefit options out there to get in contact with us.
Okay. That's really good information. How many times have we had this conversation? And I feel like each time we hit on something different.
Yes, once a year.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, twice a year.
Any other questions for our panelists? I want to leave a few minutes for announcements. No? Nick, thank you for jumping in and being part of our panel. But to you and Rob and Janeyah and Wes, anyone else have something else to add, or any thoughts for our group?
I have a question, please.
Okay.
So this is Brenda. I taught in the community college system, and I'd first like to give a real shout out to the community college system, because so many of our students tried a four-year college and really couldn't deal with 17 or 18-year-olds in introductory classes. So they would come to us in the transition program and get their first 2 years with people who, particularly in the rural communities, who were second, third, fourth career people. So they had a lot more in common there. But also struggling in the community college system is the fact that they don't have the resources that the four-year colleges have for veterans counseling. So the veterans counselor was simply the admissions person who wanted the veterans money. So how can those kinds of issues be addressed? Because we've got a whole bunch of veterans in the community college system.
For as far as I tell people that we don't compete with community college. Actually, we work side by side with them. So I actually worked with Fayetteville Technical Community College and Sand Hills and other Wilson Community College, Pitt Community College. So we try to work hand in hand. So it's like I said, we're not competing with them. So I'll add our resources to them and say, and give them the opportunity to say, if you want to further your education after your 2-year degree, this option's available. It's there. So I love the community. I started in the community college system myself. That's how I got my fire training done and everything like that. But it was a great way to start. I don't have any beef with community colleges, so I love to work with community colleges. So if you know if any community colleges that you want me to go talk to, I've been more than willing. Like I said, I sit down, they invite me all the time, and I'll just sit down in their cafeteria and just talk to their students, and they love it.
Hey, Brenda, one of our community, I'm not gonna say that she's a community partner, but she's a great partner, Jennifer Dillian, with Veterans Upward Bound. So it's out of Wake County and it's also in Johnston County. So we was just with her last week. So her program is great. It's for rural counties. I can get you her point of contact and you get her information of how she's connecting veterans for post and secondary education. And she also gives them a monthly stipend to assist when it comes for them to help them continue their education in certain areas as well.
And I know JW, so we work very closely with JW, and I know he just became the president out at McDowell. But JW and his team at the community college system office in Raleigh, we've had a very close relationship with over the past 4 to 5 years, and we've had a strategic initiative working with them on admissions because it is very selective. I know Rob goes through the same thing. It's selective in terms of students getting in here. So we try to break down those barriers. And part of that is a viable option is going through the community college system, which I'm a 2-year community college alum myself. So I believe in that, and I believe in that education. And I also, again, goes back to helping our service members understand how to maximize the benefits, right? So if you're at a community college, in a lot of cases, the affordability factor, if you can save benefits, if you have other dependents or yourself has aspirations for advanced degrees, it's an opportunity to knock out those general ed requirements in that environment. But I can tell you a lot of the schools that we deal with, so our 5 biggest feeder schools in terms of the number of veterans that are coming over here are already starting to do really good work in this space. So I would say that some of them are not that far behind and they're doing great work. But I think it all kind of starts at the system office with whoever's taking JW's spot. They do a great job, and he was a conduit for us getting in contact with the right people at these schools.
Thank you, everyone. That was great. Any other comments? Questions? Okay, let's open it up to announcements. Who would, Paul? Yes.
2. I got the flyer here and we have it online. The VA Benefits Live in Cary is 12, 13, 14 September. In Cary, and we can share this. I think I've shared it a couple times. Yeah, she's got it. We'll push it, but I think anybody in the veteran space, any veteran that has any question about anything, dependent, family member, or anything, and even if you're with an organization, they don't do tours, but like, even if you don't need anything, but you're in the veteran space, show up and talk with the other vendors, because that's a way to network and get connected in there to see what they do. Because, you know, I'm under the belief if a veteran comes in there and leaves without with something that they didn't get, it's their own fault because it's there. And then the last thing is new 18 September, we're gonna do mental health first aid training in conjunction with Wake County VSOs. We did that last year a couple of times. We're gonna do it once this year. We did it twice last year, but those details and the registration link will be out hopefully by the end of the week.
Anyone else have anything to share?
Oh, don't forget the Triangle Women Veterans Coffee on August 30th, here at the Joel Fund.
And if there's any other, events or anything like that, that's my job. I go out to any events you guys would want me to and providing information to the veterans. So I do not like sitting in my desk at home. So if there's anything you guys want me to do, right now I'm the only one, but I'm like, we have 3 more people and there's another guy gonna be in the Raleigh area. His name is Mitchell. He's retired 20 years in the Army. So he's gonna be joining us as well, but I'm gonna have to train him. But if there's anything, any events you guys know of, that's including veterans and military anywhere, please give me a call. I'll be doing my best to be there.
So that just leads me to say, if any of y'all want to come visit and see what I do, it's a whole lot more important when you get hands-on and you can experience the environment. We're gonna host a team from the Durham VA in September at some point that she's bringing like 6 of her people. And I would offer that to any of y'all. So if you have a team of people, Antonio's been invited, he keeps putting me off.
That's it.
Paul, blah, blah, blah.
A little bit.
It's on her schedule.
And it's, so what I do, so I have it's a 8-session program. So what I do when people visit the first time is I give them the first session. So you will see exactly what a participant might be experiencing, and it's a self-evaluation. You do the whole thing. It's on the ground. You don't have to be, you can be deathly afraid of horses. It doesn't matter. But that's the experience. And so that's part of the process, is building the confidence and lowering the anxiety and all of those things. So any of y'all.
Yeah, I'll give you after this.
Okay, perfect. And you too. Yes, you. Only the people I've known for 5 years.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. If you need anything or have any panelists, just ideas for the future, please let us know. So have a great day. We'll see you. Sorry, September 10th is our next meeting, so we'll see that.
So they're doing their Christmas, they're doing Grinch.
Yeah.